Hey guys, just wanted to check in with you guys and chat with you guys today about brain fog, which is something that a lot of people deal with, and I deal with it from time to time. It started, I know it's my hypothyroid condition contributes to it, and I was in a brain fog for a very, very long time, and it was hard to get out of it. I didn't understand what was going on with my body. Slowly over time, as I've made some lifestyle changes, it has improved and gotten better, and there are days when I have clear days, and there are some days that I do go back into brain fog, but I've been able to come out of it a little bit faster each time I kind of learn from what I'm doing. So I just wanted to talk with you about that today because I know I'm not the only one who deals with it. So what it feels like, it's exactly what it sounds like. It feels like your brain is in a cloud. It is foggy, you can't think, you can't make decisions. Just getting through the day, getting through the moment is difficult. It's hard to do anything. And when you're in that chronically, it's really, really difficult. And it's hard for you, and it's also hard for the family as well. That's something we've had to deal with Jason and I and the family environment. Working through brain fog as a family, it's really hard. So that's pretty much what it feels like. Complete cloud all the time, can't come out of it, and it's really difficult. So what I've kind of found over all of my research and experimenting on myself, there are some things that I was doing that was contributing to my brain fog. So one of the biggest ones I'm going to talk a lot about is sugar. And it's not like I'm pounding, sweet tarts and, gummy bears and pure sugar. It's just any type of refined sugar, and sugar's in about everything. If you've ever tried to cut sugar out of your diet, it is all sugar is really, really difficult, other than fruit and having to even limit fruit. For someone who has a sugar addiction, it's very difficult. So even getting all sugar or most sugar out is hard to do. But what I find is every time that I have less sugar in my diet, my head starts to clear up. So that is a main contributor to my brain fog, and when I take it out, I feel better. So you may see as I've gone on my journey, and I'll explain a lot more to you guys, so you understand where I came from. I've done Whole30, I've done autoimmune paleo, I've gone on these different diets or different meal plans, trying to figure out what's going on with my body. So I'm not doing it to just drop weight as just a nutrition diet, just to kind of cut everything out and just drop weight fast and be crazy. Like, that's not it at all. It is, my body is chronically inflamed all the time, and it's a very tough balancing act because one little thing can throw my body off and I am screwed. So I have to do this really, really tough balancing act at all times. So that's why you may see that I talk a lot about balance. I talk a lot about stress relief. Those are some contributing factors to my brain fog. So sugar is a big one. Once I take sugar out, my brain feels better. When I have the sugar in, my brain feels bad. It is. So next is healthy fats. And this is something I learned recently that was really interesting to me. So I know you hear, and I've been, you need avocado, olive oil, eggs, boiled salmon, like healthy fats. We talk a lot about high fat diets because we grew up doing low fat diets. That's what we all learned. So that's what we did. And come to find out that that was not good. Our brain is comprised of fat. It needs healthy fats to work properly. And the one thing I found, because I am a chip person, I have been since I was little. When I was 6 years old, as my mom would call, camp out at the chip bowl, and I would eat chips nonstop. And it's something that has always been a struggle for me and still is. I am not one of the ones who can have a couple chips and just put them away. Like, I'm a eat the whole bag kind of girl. One thing I found out, so as I've gone through my journey, I've gone from eating, of course, regular chips and tortilla chips and all that stuff like that, you're just normal stuff you find in the grocery store, to looking at the quality of the chips. So going from like sweet potato chips, and there's a lot out now that are, have taken, all the allergens are out of it, all of the, they're vegan, they're made mostly of vegetables. They've taken like if you look on the ingredient list, there's really not much there. But the one ingredient that's always in there to make them is some sort of vegetable oil, sunflower, safflower, canola oil. And that's when I go a little overboard on my chip. I'm taking in too much of that fat, and apparently that is an inflammatory fat. It's an omega-6. So when I take an omega-3 supplement, I'm not a big fish person. I think the smell of fish just makes me nauseous. So Jason always says, hey, why don't we have fish? And I'm like, I can't even think about it. Salmon's okay, but everything else, I can't smell it and I don't want to cook it. So come to find out, some that was contributing to some of my brain fog, I believe, I don't know for sure, but it's just kind of what I believe, is having this ratio of too many omega-6s, which is my safflower, more of my chips when I go a little bit on chip binge, to my healthy fats and my omega-3s. So I had no idea that that can contribute and throw my body into inflammation. No clue. And now I'm like a lot more aware of that oil intake. And that's pretty much in anything processed. So taking out all processed foods, of course, makes me feel better. Easier said than done. Not perfect whatsoever. Food allergies, of course, contribute to brain fog. If I actually have gluten or dairy, that can throw my system off. That's something I'm going to go into more depth about how I started going gluten and dairy free and why, and how that's helped my health tremendously. It's hard to do, and I don't expect a lot of people to understand, except for the people who truly have to take it out for a reason. But it does help my brain fog improve. Any sort of like artificial sweeteners, aspartame, sucralose, stuff like that, which is in a lot of stuff, that can contribute to my brain fog. Dehydration is a big one. And that's for a lot of people, can kind of throw their brain off a little bit. If you did not have enough water, we always talk about, okay, water's great for you, keeps you dehydrated, makes you feel good, all these wonderful things about hydration, but we don't really focus on how important it is for our brain health. And I can tell when I'm dehydrated. I'm like super sensitive to it now. So I got to stay very, very hydrated to have my brain work. And I can feel it, like I get, and right now I'm still working on it. My hands are swollen because I'm still inflamed. I'm getting better. My brain fog is getting better because I've been able to rebalance myself a little bit over the past couple days. But I have swelling in my hands and my legs and everything. My rings don't fit, or they fit, but they're tight, and that's typically not the case. So hydration can contribute to brain fog, and also caffeine withdrawal is another one that can, having a lot of caffeine, that's one thing I cannot have. I can't have caffeine because it messes with my adrenal glands and can throw me into adrenal fatigue. So it sounds crazy, but all of these things can contribute to brain fog. So ways to, of course, improve your brain fog, which is what I'm doing, is getting back on track. Even though when I say fall off, it's not really fall off to the normal person. I'm not eating, ice cream and pizza and all these things because I can't have them. It's having a little bit of sugar, or I didn't sleep enough. Lack of sleep is another big one. So some things you can do: veggies, fruits, nuts, beans, meats, eggs, fish. Food quality and quantity. I tend to be a binge eater when I go on when I tend to have stuff and I have too much in my system, and that makes me feel bad too. Like I said, we're not perfect. I do my best. It's gotten better over the years. Quality of sleep. This is something I struggle with, is getting enough sleep. I am trying to do my lavender, trying to go to bed earlier. It's something I struggle with, and I know that's when I'm off in my brain fog. So working on sleep. Exercise. We talk a lot about exercise. It's a big part of, your health and feeling good and losing weight if that's your goal, or toning up. And we say, okay, increases endorphins, and everyone's like, yeah, okay. Well, it actually really does help your body, and it actually does decrease inflammation. So getting up, moving at least 30 minutes a day. I just came back from a walk. I'm going to do my normal actual workout using my TV, using on demand. And it actually stimulates, it burns off the stress hormone, So that's awesome to know for us being all stressed. It burns off the stress hormone and it stimulates brain cell formation. So helps the brain. It all goes back. Obviously getting rid of processed foods and keeping the sugar low. So that's pretty much it. I know it's easier said than done. I know it's really hard. Doing this, I feel very alone at times, I'll be honest, because I'm not your typical person in our normal society right now. Alcohol really messes with me. I keep trying with it because I like to have a drink every now and then. My anniversary is coming up on Saturday, and I'm not really sure how what we're doing. Jason kind of planned it, but what we're doing, if we're going out to eat probably, and is that going to throw me off? I'd like to celebrate with a drink, but I don't know if that's possible. So social situations is really difficult, and and this is something I'm going to explore more with you guys, which is something I'm working through, is feeling I need to eat and have everything kind of on point between stress and food and exercise. Like everything has to work perfectly for my body to function. And I'm not perfect. I'm human. I have flaws. And how do I live and feel good in a place where I have to be a little bit more perfect? Like we talk about 80-20 rule, which I highly recommend to a lot of people. It just kind of keeps you on track, while I'm kind of 100-0. So, or I'm off track. So we're going to keep exploring. I'm going to keep learning. I'm going to keep bringing more information to you guys that hopefully I can help you, because I want you to feel like you're not alone. I'm going through the same thing you are. I may be a few steps ahead of you. I've been researching and learning, experimenting for a while. So I may be a little bit ahead of you. So I'd love to share what I've learned with you guys. And I'll keep bringing you content. So talk to you guys later. Have a great day. Bye.